I remember so clearly. It seems like just the other day. We were two kids falling in love, but now we're full grown, baby.
Hey family, what is going on, guys? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to AP and Toya podcast.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, podcast day, y'all. As always, I am AP. This is my beautiful wife, Toya.
Yes. Thank you.
And we have a great podcast for you guys today.
Yes.
Well, we feel it's a good one. And it is 6 habits of a healthy marriage, all right?
Yes. Quick podcast.
Yeah.
On healthy marriages. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I think it's something that we want to kind of delve into a little bit more. As a, we feel like we've been through a lot of things in our marriage, and we feel like we get a lot of marital questions about, people think that it kind of comes easy to have our type of marriage, or people say, oh, I want a marriage like this, or I think you guys are the perfect couples to do this. But we have to work at what we want our marriage to be. And so I think,
and plus we've done the work. We've done a lot of work to get to where we are now, and I feel like we're at a place now where we still have our struggles. But we can we know how to. I guess I don't want to go into our points yet, but we can kind of figure things out, and things that would upset us or things that will go wrong for us before, we kind of have a better understanding of each other now, right?
Before it would be World War III, but now we know we can see the signs, we know how to navigate, we know how to, we see exactly what's happening when it's happening, instead of dealing with the aftermath of carnage. So
we can kind of just recognize and kind of work through it, because we've put in that work. We've put in the work. So let's dive into it. So 6 habits of a healthy marriage. So the first habit, which I think is like, if not the most important one, is prayer. Praying together. Yeah. And we've learned this the hard way, because we've went a lot of seasons in our marriage just with having like younger kids when we were first having kids. Yeah. I feel like that is something that we didn't do because we were busy. I feel like originally in the beginning, something we didn't know to do, because we didn't see it really modeled for us. So I think we feel like it's very important now that we institute praying together, and
also just keeping it real. It wasn't a priority for us younger, because we were still figuring ourselves. Yeah, we were still figuring ourselves, our relationship, our own relationship out with Christ, but also figuring out what does marriage even look like. And so we didn't merge the two for a while. And still, and still today, we have seasons where my wife is praying way more than I am, and I'm praying more. Or it's times where we need to be praying together where we're not really praying together. And so praying together is one of the very most essential things, especially if you're a believer. If you guys believe in a higher power, if you guys believe in the same higher power, that's very important too. Just praying together, spending your daily time with God. Because at the end of the day, if God is not in it, the devil has so many different ways in order that he can kind of destroy and tear apart marriages. But if you guys are together spiritually, praying together daily, or praying for each other, if you don't get a chance to connect together, praying for each other daily can mean the world of difference. Because I know for a fact my wife is praying over me. I know, because I can wake up sometime and she touching my face and all this other stuff.
I'll be sprinkling that oil.
she doing all this stuff, but I know that she's praying for me. Yeah. And that's probably one of the most things that have kept us together through some of the storms, is that we were praying for ourselves, but also praying for our family and for each other.
Yeah. And can I say too, like, there are times that I've seen this multiple times, and I just know God is so amazing, because I will pray for something and just little things like, God, like, please help him to be better in this area and do this, and then you'll wake up and then you'll be like, oh my God, the craziest thing, I had a dream, or like, I want to start doing better. It's like the same exact thing that I prayed for.
So you put that voodoo on me.
So yes, sprinkling that oil on you. Yes.
Yeah, but number one is
praying together. Praying together, and we realized too, it doesn't have to be like at first when we first heard about praying together. I don't know if it was in church or marriage counseling or what it was about praying together. I felt like it had to be this big, drawn-out thing. It had to take so many time. And it was like, there's no way that we're going to be able to come together and pray and do all this stuff. I mean, we come together and do other stuff, right? So why not come together and pray? But it doesn't have to be like this long, drawn-out thing. Just a few minutes, kind of just connecting, holding hands. and just praying with each other. Some couples, some of my friends, they do it over the phone while they're commuting with each other.
Yeah.
They call each other on the phone and pray before they go to work. So that's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Some people call their husbands or wives are at their desk. We didn't get here yet because you don't call me. But yes.
But it's hard to call you when you're a nurse. You're on the floor. You're working. It's hard to even get.
You can't call me to pray. So my job is a little different than that. Yeah. But also doing Bible plans together. We found that doing Bible plans. If you have the U version, or if you don't have it, the Bible app, U version app. You can have a friend, you can friend somebody, and then you guys can do plans together. Very simple. It's
pretty much social media for a Bible.
Whatever it is that you're going through, whatever season it is that you're in your marriage, you can pick a topic, and you guys there's always a short devotional, and then there's a prayer after. And also a scripture, so that's awesome.
And we're and just to kind of slow things down, I know we're kind of rushing through these things, and we're excited about this list. So if we're talking fast, I'm so sorry, guys, but this is something that we're kind of excited about, because one thing we really love is marriage and helping people with their marriages.
We do. We have a heart for marriages. Yeah, and I really feel like that's one of my life's calling, to really help people through difficult seasons in their marriage, because we've had so many people that sowed into us when we were ready to throw in the towel, like I hate you, I can't do this anymore, like I don't care about legacy, I don't care about anything, I just don't want to be with you.
Yeah, help you out.
Are you gonna be fixing my hair doing my whole
a little thing hanging out there? You good now?
Yeah. So people sowed into us, people that really changed not only the marriage trajectory, but changed our lives personally.
Definitely.
So I feel like God has really given us this mission, the both of us, to sow into the marriage, into the lives of others.
Yeah, like my wife said, we've this is something that is a staple for us, because we feel like we want people to be able to just to be happy, because there's nothing worse than being stuck in a marriage or in a relationship where you feel as if you're a prisoner or a captive and you can't be happy. When you decide to marry somebody, that's supposed to be the person that you feel that you can fight your everyday battles with. And so if you guys aren't connecting spiritually, that's one thing, because half the battle is letting God handle the hard stuff. I saw something that Mike Ty said today. He said that having faith without doing the work is like they don't go hand in hand. So this is how God works with faith and with marriage and with just anything. You have to put in the work. So you handle the things that you can handle, which is praying together, which is being strategic about things. And God can add the increase to stuff that you can't do. And so that's how you have to work hand in hand. Your relationship with God and your relationship with your spouse, you have to put in the work. And so God will do the supernatural things, but if you're not putting in the things that you can do, you're not going to get the outcome that you want. You got to continue to put the work in when it comes to marriage, when it comes to anything in life that you want. You have to make sure you put the work in. So marriage is the same thing. So point number 1, pray together. And we can wrap that up in just spirituality. Make sure you guys are doing something spiritual to make sure you guys are connected soul-wise. Praying, Bible plans, whatever it is, make sure you guys are connecting spiritually. Right?
And I think we just went real deep with it. So
Sorry.
I gotta add this. So many times with people I've talked to, friends, if you have a spouse or you're in a relationship where you've tried to pray with your spouse, you've tried to pray with your partner, and they just don't want to pray. Like they're not at that place in their walk. Sometimes they don't even believe in God. Like let's just keep it real. Like, or they've had bad things that happen to them and they blame God. They're at a place where they don't want to pray. They don't know prayer work. They don't believe in prayer. So I would encourage, and I've always encouraged my friends and people that I talk to continue praying. You do believe in Jesus. Good. You do believe that prayer works. So pray over your spouse. Like I pray over Aaron when he's sleeping. He'll wake up. He'll wake up with a greasy forehead. That's just my oil, just praying for him. I'll pray over my kids. I'll pray. So continue. I encourage you to continue praying, even though your spouse you can't pray with your spouse because they're not open to the idea of praying. Yeah. Continue to pray in your own time, whenever it is that you pray. Continue praying. Continue speaking the word over that person. Like, just continue with that process, because you don't know how God can change them, how God can use other people, how God can even use you as a spouse. They say the best times to pray for your spouse is when they're not praying for themselves. Like, that's the time you intercede on their behalf. So there's been many times when I couldn't pray and Aaron was praying for me, and there was times that he wasn't praying, that I was interceding on his behalf. So I really encourage you to continue praying if your spouse is not at the place yet where you guys can pray together.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess the next thing is...
let's go to point number 2.
Point number 2. Also, we watch sermons together. Well, I kind of force you to watch sermons with me.
But I'm loving that, though. Like, I've gotten so much out of the stuff that she sent me. My wife is big on sending things that are inspiring, that are inspirational, that are spiritual, that she... Because that's one... So I know we're going along with this first point, but... That's one thing that I love about my wife is she knows where I am spiritually. Like, just by knowing me as a man and knowing my struggles and knowing the things I'm good at, she is so in tune with me. And so she will send me things that's like, look, I think this would benefit you. And for the most part, I may put it off for a week, 2 weeks, 3, whatever it is. But when I listen...
Sometimes he might not watch it at all.
Facts. But when I listen to him, it's like... Okay, I get it. Like, she sent me something like a month ago, and I finally watched it today, and I got so many jewels and gems out of that video. I was just like, yo, this was dope. Like, I didn't even want it to end. Like, it was just it was just dope. But yeah. So my wife is. You should always try and be in tune with your spouse, spiritually, where they are, their walk, everything like that. You should
as much as possible.
As much as possible.
It took a while to get here. Like,
right.
It took a while to get here. But continue sending, because there's been times when I've sent sermons, I've sent quotes, I've sent all these kinds of things, and he just never watched it.
Right.
So don't give up. Keep going. You never know. Keep going. You never know, because a month later he couldn't listen to it.
And he might
only because his friend told him to listen to this.
No, I wanted to listen to it. I wanted to listen to it regardless, but I forgot about it with the countless amount of things you sent to me. I totally forgot about it, and then somebody reminded me of it. I was like, oh, my wife sent me that. But yeah. All right, so let's go to number 2.
Point number 2 is communication.
Yeah, communication.
Yes, communication. Is that our babies knocking? Yes.
Oh, what's going on? I hear the door creaking.
Communication. You must have communication. And man, let me tell you, communication is a struggle. Yeah. All right? In our beginning years of our marriage, even now, like, sometimes, like, I just, like, babe, like, we got to communicate better. Like, stop, pause, like, whatever it is that we're doing. Like, what is it that you're saying? How am I hearing you? How are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk this thing through. And we've had to go through therapy to figure out how to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So making sure that you can communicate with your spouse. Your spouse you should feel free, and your spouse should also feel free and safe to express their feelings without any, like, what's the word, backlash or something. Because I know there's been times in our marriage where I've been like, oh, I don't know if I should talk to Aaron about this, because I know that's just going to make him mad. It's just going to piss him off.
Yeah.
So I feel like communicating your needs, and also finding the right time to communicate. Because there's some times when you just know, like, I need to tell him that, but now is not the right time. Like, he just came home from work, he's tired, he's like, now is not a good time. The kids are going crazy, that was not a good time. Right. So communicating and finding the right time to communicate.
And I feel like that's something that you know, most people say communication is key. You hear other people that give relationship advice or just friendship advice, whatever it is, communication is always key. It's 10 times more important in a marriage, because the two of you are responsible for a household. You're responsible for, even if you don't have kids yet, you guys are responsible for even just the peace in your own home, because you guys aren't living together. Yeah. The communication piece is essential, because we're not, especially I speak from the men's perspective, we're not mind readers. We have no idea what you're thinking, when you're thinking, how you're thinking it, and how I'm supposed to respond to you thinking it. We don't know. It's impossible to do.
Are you trying to communicate something to me right now?
I'm trying to communicate. See, I'm using my hands. I don't know what you're thinking. And so it is very important for us not only communicate what your needs are, communicate what your wants are. My wife is very big on telling me what her needs and her wants are. My wife is a type of person that she'll lay the plan out there for me, and it's up to me to decide, am I going to go along with this thing? Am I going to help spearhead this thing? Or is it something she's going to have to keep communicated with me about, because my wife is a visionary, and I love that about her. One of her strong suits is that she is a great visionary, and she's like, this is how, not only is she a visionary, but she shows me how I can fit into what she feels God has told her, and vice versa. So if I have something, and I tell my wife, look, I think we would be great if we did this, it's the first thing she'll ask is, okay, what do you need me to do? Or how can I help with this? I love that about that. So the communication, not only in what our needs are, wants are, but communication in our dreams. Like, we have dreams and wants for our families, and if that's not communicated so we're on the same page, it's impossible to accomplish those things. We would have meetings, we would talk, we would just plan out our lives, because we need to be on the same page when it goes to attacking life. And so, but if we don't communicate with each other, it's impossible. It's impossible to accomplish anything.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
So with that said, no major decisions should be made without informing your spouse.
Now that's facts.
Yes.
Now that's facts. That's something like
That's
so true.
Can you speak on, Aaron? I think you're good at. Can you speak on what if you have these goals, you have this big visions, like you're married to a visionary and you're not a visionary. You're like, oh, I want to do this. Like, this is a safe space. I don't want to open my own business. I want to go to work. I want to get my paycheck. I want to have my benefits. Can you speak to how a person that the other spouse that's not the visionary, like how can you support, like how, like if you come to me, like you were doing your music and you needed money for like tracks and you wanted to be part of this company, and my other side part of me was just like, look, like, can you go get a regular job? Like, do what you need to do. Like, can we just like get on with our life already? Like, we don't have time to be exploring all your dreams and stuff. Like, how do you work through
as
that?
a visionary, you mean? Or
yeah, because there's spouses, like I know spouses now that have these big dreams and goals, and the other is just like no, we don't have the money to do that. Like, let's not pursue that. Like, that's not the
I
right.
honestly feel, and this is just my opinion, and every marriage is different, but I feel like this is nothing I can. I would feel like I don't even have a chance of survival if I don't have my wife alongside of me. Because at the end of the day, she is my helpmeet. She's my spiritual partner. She's the person that I lean on and trust the most. And so if I feel like I can't be 100% honest, or I feel like I can't, if it's something that I can't partner with my wife on, then maybe it's something I shouldn't even be doing. Because at the end of the day, your wife knows your goods and your bads. And if your wife feels like, look, this is something that is just going to be harmful for you, harmful for our family, this is something we shouldn't be doing, then at the end of the day, I need to make sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just thinking some stuff that I kind of messed up on some stuff earlier.
I was going to say, there's been a lot of things I told you to do absolutely not.
You
do not have my blessing to do this.
And she was right, and I still went on and did it.
Anyway.
And it messed some stuff up. And so I feel like if your spouse, if your significant other isn't on board with you, just for peace in your home, you guys need to have an understanding. Have an understanding as to why I want to do this or why I'm not going to do this. But also, as a spouse of someone who is a visionary, you should also be able to just sit down and discuss what's the pros and the cons of these things, and why I need you to come alongside me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just some communication. It has to be communication now, because it's so hard. It's so hard nowadays to succeed at any entrepreneurial adventure. It's hard. But if you don't have your spouse alongside you, it's gonna be worse. Because now you got to double. Because now you're gonna be struggling at the new place, but also you're gonna be struggling at home. And if home is not at peace, there's no way your business is gonna be thriving when you're coming home to just chaos. Yeah. You know, I hope I answered your question, but I had a lot of things in my mind that I was thinking about.
Pretty much just supporting your spouse. If praying about it, talking about it. The main thing is talking about it. No making any decisions without your spouse knowing or being involved. The third topic is trust.
Trust.
How can we have a healthy marriage without trust?
Yeah, it's impossible. You cannot have a healthy marriage without trust. You have to be able to trust a person to be able, not only be able to honor who you guys are as a couple, but be able to honor God at the same time. You have to be able to trust your partner with everything. That means being vulnerable. That means with your deepest, darkest fears, your secrets. Your partner has to be able to trust you. You have to be able to trust them to be vulnerable, because if you don't trust your spouse, then who are you going to trust? And if you did put somebody in place of your spouse, you're already out of order. You're already out of order. So there's no way you could trust anybody more than you trust your spouse. This is the person you're doing life with. So you have to be able to trust your spouse. Like, I mean, I can't say it enough. I say this all the time. This is my best friend, and I have male friends that I'm close with, and I have people that I rock with for a long time. But this right here is my best friend. This is the person that I'm doing life with, and so I feel like I can be vulnerable with my wife. I've cried in front of my wife. I've been hurt in front of my wife. I've realized that I'm not as strong as I thought I was in front of my wife, because I feel like she's the person I could be the most vulnerable with. With your boys, you could put on this persona of masculinity and all this other stuff you want to, but with your spouse, you're supposed to be the most uncovered, the most naked, the most vulnerable with. And so, on the flip side, you have to create an environment of trust too, because if every time for example, if I was to ever say, you know, boo, I'm not sure about this time of my life. I don't know where money coming from. I don't know this. And then if she was just to tear me down at that point, how could I ever come back to her with any way that I'm feeling vulnerable? It builds a wall up between us. And so maybe you could speak to that a little bit. How does it come to, as a spouse, what's the responsibility of a wife, or or just a spouse, and when it comes to being vulnerable to your partner's needs?
Yeah. So we've been through seasons in our life where we've both had vulnerable moments. I was watching a sermon today. It was actually called, instead of Build a Bear, it's called Build a Man. And I thought it was really good because she was talking about, like, we want all these different parts of a relationship. We want to put all these pieces together of a man to have this certain kind of man, and the way we want him to look and the money we want him to make. But also at the same time, I think it works well for a marriage too. Like, a husband needs to be open and say, like, I think men feel like they have this big persona, like you have to be this manly man, and you can't cry, and you have to be tough, and you can't really show your wife this side of you, like, like kind of just being weak or, in front of your wife. And I think, like, it's good. I think it's good for men to be vulnerable and I think it's good for a wife to support. What are you writing over there? It's good for a wife to support her husband during that time, to know that, look, you can come to me, you can talk to me, you can share. And I think wives appreciate that. I appreciate when you're straight up with me, like, look, like, I know I'm supposed to lead in this way, but I have no clue how to even lead in this way, like, or I'm feeling like this, or I'm feeling less of a man in this area, like, or I haven't been shown how to do this, so I don't know how to do this. Like, I feel like for me, it's good when you're vulnerable with me, because I can be even more open and trusting with you, knowing that, look, and go a little easier on you too. Like, look, Aaron he's never been taught how to fix cars, so he doesn't know how to fix my car. So like, I love when you're open and honest and vulnerable with me, because it helps me to trust you even more.
Yeah. And I think it's essential, because like I said, your spouse, your partner is supposed to be the one that protects your heart the most, protects your feelings, that protects the essence of who you are as a person, as a man, as a woman. Your spouse is supposed to be that person. So if you can't trust them to be vulnerable in front of them, and even trust them to protect your marriage, trusting that person to protect your marriage is obviously one of the more what do you call it? One of the more glaring things. People talk about infidelity in marriages and stuff like that. You have to be able to just trust, obviously, with your heart, with your spirit, with your health, with your finances. You have to be able to trust your spouse 100% wholeheartedly. And again, it took time for us to learn what that trust was, because it was hard to be vulnerable. It was hard to have difficult conversations. It's always going to be hard to let the other person know what their expectations are of each other if you don't trust and know that you're coming from a good place and not a place of hurting.
Yeah.
And so
and I feel like it's also hard to, like, this is a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
But it's also hard too if the trust is broken.
Yes.
It takes a long time.
We should definitely do that show.
A long time to rebuild.
To rebuild trust,
so
yeah.
We've learned that from experience too. That if the trust is broken, it took a long time to build it up, and then it's like
you go
right back down,
yep.
and then it takes a slow, process coming back up to learning how to trust your spouse again. So definitely another we'll do another podcast on regaining trust after it's been lost.
I like that.
Let's
go to
so
the next one.
I think we did a lot on trust, right?
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
open and honest with your spouse.
Yeah.
Even when you mess up, I feel like you like people need to know, like, they need to be honest with your spouse. Like, I'd rather you tell me, like, hey, I did this or I did that, instead of me finding out from somebody else,
exactly,
or just having to snoop and find stuff. Like, be honest with me. If you messed up and this is what happened, like, be open and honest. Like, I think
agreed.
That's, okay,
definitely.
let's go.
I'll
go on and on trust.
Yeah, I like that show, Regaining Trust. I like that. We gotta write that down.
Yeah.
The fourth one is loving each other with. Actually, let's go to the.
Let's do that one.
What, loving each other with...
Loving each other through your love language. Yeah. I think this is like an essential. I know, at least for me.
Yeah.
Our marriage went to a whole different level when we learned our love language. Yeah. So my love language. We talk about the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. So if you don't know where they are, there's a website, GaryChapman.com, the 5lovelanguages.com. You can go there. You can take the test with your spouse. Just a few questions to figure out what's your love language. And once we figured out, I don't know where we got this book from, but someone gifted it to us. But once we figured out what our love languages were, we were able to love each other on a whole other level. So my love language is acts of service. And I realized too, like, I was loving Aaron the way I wanted to be loved. Like, I love to come home and the bed's made and the house is clean, the dishes are done. And Aaron could come home and care less about that. Like, he wants physical touch, like most men. And what's your other love language? At words of affirmation. He likes me to tell him, hey, baby, you're doing a great job. I admire this. You're a great leader. I love how you're leading our family. I love how you've been loving on me. I love how you're loving our kids. Like, he needs to be built up. Like, instead of build a bear, build a man. Like, that's you. The build a man. Like, build him up. That's the sermon I was just watching.
Yes.
So instead of build a bear, build a man up. So we learned to love each other so much better after we figured out what our love languages are.
Yeah.
So, anything you have to add?
Yeah. I mean, and we talk about the 5 love languages all the time because it was a book that was essential to us growing in our marriage and just individually and as parents as well. So we always recommend that book.
Because your kids have love languages
right.
too.
So we always recommend this book. As a matter of fact, I think we gifted one of these books to one of our listeners before.
Did we?
Yeah,
I'll be open to gifting another one. If you want a copy and you haven't read this awesome book, let me know because you know I'm a Bucky.
Yeah, drop it in the comments if you want the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. Drop it in the comments, and the first person to do that will make sure to give you guys a copy of it.
Because I'm on a budget, and I'm not trying to give away 50 million bucks. But one book, I can give away.
Yeah, but loving each other through what we expect, you know what I mean? And so it actually goes...
Loving each other the way the other person wants to be loved. Not the way we want to receive love, but the way they receive love.
That's why I said the way the other one expects to be loved. Yeah.
Okay. It almost sounded like you were saying it the other
No,
way.
I'm with you.
Love the way you want to be loved, but it's love the way they want to be loved.
Yeah, they love the way they're... Yeah. If I'm physical touch, I won't want you to be like, hey, I made the bed. I'm like, nah, man, let me...
Let's get in the bed.
Let me touch something. All right, let's go to the next one.
Yes.
Showing, gratitude?
So the 5th one, so you guys can see how excited I am about this because I picked these habits. But the 6th one is expressing gratitude. Yeah. So I have an example. So the other day, you loved on me surprisingly. You sent me chocolate covered strawberries.
Oh, yeah.
To my job. And not only I was having a bad day, but it just made my day. It just reminded me, it made me feel so grateful, one, to be in a relationship with you, and two, it just made me feel special. Like, Aaron appreciates me. Like, he appreciates me being his wife. He appreciates me being the mother of his kids. I just felt really appreciative and appreciated. So expressing gratitude, I put this on the list because there's a lot of times I think we take our spouses for granted. And I think just a text, a call, just, hey, I love you, I'm thinking about you, thank you so much for all you do, thank you so much for being my wife. Like, just the little things that could like take a marriage to a whole other level. So just expressing gratitude for each other. I don't know if you have any other examples.
No. I'm with that. I mean, some of the best things, like today, it's been a long week already at work, and one of the things that I came home to was my wife had dinner already ready, and, you know, she made one of my favorite meals. But it was just like everything was good. The house was clean. The kids was, you know, fine. But it was just, everything was, you know, she was shopping because she had the day off. And it was just like, I came home to peace. And so I was just so happy about that. So I think she was standing there doing dishes, and I just came and gave her a hug. And she like, you want to record the podcast? Yeah, we got to record the podcast. But I just had to give her a hug because I was just so grateful that, you know, that she just does the stuff that she does. And she doesn't think twice about it. It's not like, oh, let me do this so I can get some accolades. She just is that type of woman. And so I am so overwhelmed and so overjoyed to have her as my wife. And so that's not stuff I just say because I'm just talking to y'all on the camera or something like that. I'm saying that because I say it all the time, y'all. Like, I truly, truly, truly love this woman. And so I am very grateful to have her in my life. And I tell her all the time, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for her. I don't know, honestly. This is being 100% transparent. I don't know where I'd be in life or what type of person I would be if I did not meet her. And so, yeah.
I think that sums up expressing gratitude very well.
Physical touch. Okay.
Touch. I also expressed my gratitude for you earlier, but we're not earlier, but earlier in the week. But no,
physical touch.
No,
okay.
not like that. But I think this is a different podcast, but just maintaining maybe not for, I was gonna say for women, but not just women, maintaining the peace in your home. I think that's a lot of. I think that's a whole separate podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Just having and maintaining peace in your home, like you should walk into a home that just screams love, affection, calm, quiet, whatever it is that makes you feel peaceful. And I do think as a wife, it is one of my responsibilities to maintain peace of the home. But also a husband, I think a husband can add to that peace too. Like, you don't want to come home and your wife's like yelling at you, fussing. I mean, we have times where we're arguing.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I need to maintain the peace, not just for you, for myself and for the kids. Like, I want the kids to come home to a peaceful home where it's meals, like, the house is clean, quiet, like everybody can kind of settle in, eat, do their homework. I'm going off subject. But yes, maintaining the peace of your home, I think it's another podcast that
I wrote it down.
We could yes.
We'll get into. All right, let's get to this last point because we're already, running long.
Yes. Oh my God, it's supposed to be a short podcast.
So, the last point, quality time. This is one of the most important habits of a healthy marriage. You guys, spending time with each other is
essential.
It's essential. You can't be married to somebody that you don't know.
Yes, you can't be in relationship with somebody that you're not talking to, spending time with.
Yeah, so it's essential that you guys carve out time, and it needs to be daily. I'm not talking about some, hey, when you see each other all week, let's go on a date night, which is cool because date nights are very good. Yes. But I'm talking about daily. It needs to be sometime where you guys look each other in the eye. Put phones down. My wife is always big, like, Aaron, put your phone down, put your phone down.
Can you add that for another podcast?
No.
Looking your spouse in the eye.
But quality time is daily. You got to do it because my wife is one of those people that is big on that stuff too, and I'm big on it too because when we're not connecting, I am miserable, and I let my wife know, like, look, we're not connecting, and I'm not with it. Like, I let her know that I'm not happy because we're not connected. We're not spending time. We're our thoughts are somewhere else. We're talking about work. We're talking about the kids. We're talking about, dreams and aspirations, but where's the quality time with each other? And so, and then you can tell when we're not spending quality time because now more and more fights are happening. We're not.
You're easier to get angry. Any little thing like
quick to get angry. Yeah.
Right. What'd you say to me?
And it all stems from us just not connecting and spending quality time with each other.
To get some examples.
I was gonna say, quality time is not always sex, which helps. But quality
physical touch.
But quality time is
quality time is also a love language.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot.
Quality time.
But even quality time could be anything from if y'all just in bed watching Netflix. That's quality time because y'all together. You're not distracted by anything else. Y'all have a common goal and you're spending time together. You can do. I mean, it's some of the smallest things. No, to me, I love that because if you're hugged up, I feel
like you're still like you're still watching something. To me, quality time is like us just sitting there having a cup of coffee or just
that's cool. We love to
breakfast. Like we'll just go to breakfast, have a cup of coffee.
We'll go get sushi. We'll go sit down. We'll talk.
Like no phones, nothing. Like what's going on in your world? What's going on in my world?
Tell them we just adopted a new rule. When we're spending quality time, you can use the phone up until you get to the restaurant or get to the place you're going, and then phones have to be in the middle of the table. Not off, but in the middle of the table.
Phones away. No middle of the table. Phones are away. Yeah. All right. No,
but that's the rule now.
No getting anything. Like we're together unless it's an emergency or kids' school or something regarding the kids. No answering text messages. Nothing. Text messages need to wait. Calls from anybody else needs to wait. Yeah. Quality time. Me and you. If it's not right here, then
it don't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I know we all have jobs and busyness, and my work, I'm literally on my phone all day long because I'm doing stuff. I'm a social media director and creative director.
I knew he was going to try to throw your title in
there. No, but I'm saying, so I'm always on my phone. Yeah. I'm creating stuff on my phone. I'm seeing what's trending. I'm doing all this other stuff. And so when I'm doing these things, my phone is always right in my hand. I think my pastor even said the other day in a business meeting, he was like, his phone is attached to his hand. He said that. But
his phone is attached to his hand, his face. He'll fall asleep and the phone will just be right here. All his glasses will be over like this. And his phone is like right here. But yes, this is why we had to come up with this rule of phones away. Like, I need your attention. I know it's old school, but look at me in my eyes while I'm talking to you. Like, you're like, no, I'm hearing you while he's like down. No, up here.
But quality time is something, it will bond you guys every day. Every time you spend quality time, it will bond you guys. So whatever is fighting.
Reconnect.
Yeah. If you're fighting, if you're having a disagreement, you're having, what do they call it, tense fellowship, where you guys are just arguing. Quality time will bring you guys back together.
Better than sex?
No. Well,
I think like sex is the
sex
is
sex is the culmination of quality time.
One time I called my friend and I was like, "Oh my gosh, girl, we're not connecting. I don't know what's going on." And she's just like, "Have sex." And I'm like, "No, but you don't understand. Like, we're not spending any time together. Like, we're so busy. The kids have sex." No, but
I like that friend.
Have sex. You need to have. She's like, Toya, have sex with your husband. You're gonna. All the stuff is gonna dissipate. You're gonna connect again. Have sex.
So we're
just gonna end the podcast on that. Go have sex.
That's it. So quality time, guys. You gotta spend quality time with each other. So spend date nights. Do little things that your wife likes, that your husband likes. Just spend quality time. Just you time for you guys to connect with each other. So that's pretty much it. Just to recap, guys, we're going to go through this, and I will try to put everything at the bottom of the screen. Yes. I was taking timestamps just so I can kind of put them at the bottom of the screen when we go to the next note. But 6 Habits of a Healthy Marriage, AP and Toya edition. Yes. 1, pray together. That means keep your spiritual life, make it be one. Make it be together, right?
Yes, or praying over your spouse. If your spouse or your partner is not praying at
we got to sum it up into one word.
Praying together.
Praying together.
Number 2.
Number 2, communication. All right? We talked all about communication for a long time. Communication.
Number 3, trust.
All right? Make sure you guys can trust each other with every aspect of your life. Trusting to be your emotions, your feelings, your wants, your needs. Being able to trust.
Being vulnerable.
Yes.
With your spouse.
With your spouse, yes. Number 4, love each other with love languages, right?
Yep, love each other through your love languages.
Right.
And if you haven't taken a test, go take the test. Figure out what your love language is. I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
And if you want the book, make sure you comment.
For any relationship, yes. Yeah. 5, expressing gratitude, letting your spouse know how much you appreciate them each and every day. Whenever you can, let your spouse know. You should do this for everybody in your family, for anybody in your life, but letting them know while they're alive how much you really love them.
Facts. And number 6, last but not least, quality time. Spending quality time with each other, getting reconnected to the person as to why you actually got together.
Yeah.
That one-on-one connection is why you guys got married. So you want to make sure you continue to keep that one-on-one connection with quality time. That's one of the only ways, one of the most easiest ways to reconnect with each other is by spending quality time with each other. All right?
Yes.
Thank you guys for checking out AP and Toya podcast. We hope that this was beneficial to you. We have a lot more things coming up. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave comments. We love seeing the comments.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow our Facebook. And
any prayer requests, let us know.
Yes. As my wife said before, we are big on marriage. We love helping marriages. Yes. If you have any marital questions, if you have any things, my spouse, how do I get my spouse to do this? How do I love my spouse through this? How do we get through this?
Yeah.
Definitely inbox us. We get those all the time, and we appreciate them.
Yes. And pray for us, too. I want to put this out there. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
That I am. I don't know if you are. I guess we should communicate this first. Marriage counselors. It is my dream to do marriage counseling.
We are working. We're going to be working towards
trying to figure out, we're trying to figure out how to become marriage counselors. Yeah. So I'm just going to put that out there.
We know, but we're going to start to actually putting the work into
doing it. Yes.
To become licensed marriage counselors.
We went to a marriage counselor years ago that this woman, with the help of Jesus, transformed our marriage and our lives.
We would
love to pay it forward and do that same thing for other couples. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about some great things, some creative ideas that God has given us. Oh, we're talking way too long.
Way too long.
So
she cut off my social media push. Make sure you guys follow us on all those things. Yes. Make sure you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. And then it trickle down from there. Anywhere you can get podcasts, you can get our podcast, right? AP Toy Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching on YouTube. And we will be back before you guys next Thursday with a brand new podcast. All right, y'all?
Yes.
Love each other and respect each other. And God bless.
Take care, communicate, talk, and have quality time. For
physical touch.
Lots of sex. Yes.
Peace.
See you. Bye.
We were 2 kids falling in love.